Court. It's a hilarious satire. What was the inspiration behind that tone?
Storytelling for me, I'm just obsessed with stories. I love stories so much. And one of my favourite things was watching The Office. And I didn't know 5 minutes in if it was real or not. I thought they'd stumbled across this incredible office manager who was just really weird and crazy. And I just love that David Brent character. And I felt like 20 years later, watching most stories now, you kind of know what it is. You know the tone, you know, they sort of broadcast to you, here's what we're going to tell you. And I wanted to make something where people didn't know what lens they were watching the movie through. Is it a comedy? They're all dramatic actors. I wanted people to be confused and not know what was going to happen next.
It was an absolute blast. I mean, it was the most fun I've ever had on a set. You know, I have done mainly, almost exclusively, heavier work, and you know, for me, that process is a little bit heavy. I find that I carry this stuff around. I carry sort of what the character, where the character is, and trying to sort of load that up for the scenes that you're walking into. So this was like a liberation. I mean, Kick really created an environment where I think he wanted us all to feel like there was no concept of failure. Like anything we tried was valid, whether it worked or not. He wanted that sort of spontaneity of people, and even within scenes, ad-libbing, behavioral choices.
Here we go. That look real? Spectacular. Yeah!
Australia, there's a lot of good work being done, getting global recognition. Do you think this is some form of renaissance?
Yeah, I hope so. There's a whole generation of my peers who seem to be have got something really unique and loud to say, and hopefully, I mean, that generation of filmmakers who made those films in the 80s and 90s, very famous within Australia and went on to have really big careers. And yeah, hopefully there's a new generation of storytellers. For years we would leave Australia, go to America and be in the kind of things we wanted to be in over there. Yeah. And this was my attempt at saying, hey, what if we just did it here? Let's bring people like Foxy to Australia, and do something here. Most Australian people in entertainment don't make any money, and they don't get famous. And their families really are a bit ashamed of them because they've got it, So it's not the same as in America where you become an actor and there's a lot of glory involved, which is the ambition. Not everyone achieves it, but that's what you set out to achieve in America. In Australia, you are signing up for a life of ridicule and scorn in your family. So the people who do it and last for 20 years, like I have, you've gone through a lot of like you've gone through a lot of years of not working and having people come up to you and be like, are you still acting? What's going on? And it's the shame of such a question. You've gone through it, and so you create a bit of a unique storytelling narrative in your mind, and hopefully that's going to manifest in some good shows. Yeah,
we're not American. We're Australian, like Crocodile Dundee. Yeah, the Mel Gibson. Yeah, early Mel Gibson.
Will there be another series in the world of Court?
Oh yeah. No, there'll be many. Yeah, I mean, hopefully if people like it. I mean, we really made the show the way we wanted to make it, and having people like Matthew and Sean Penn and Susan Sarandon involved gave me the opportunity to not really compromise on what I wanted it to be, which was extremely lucky. I mean, that puts me in rarefied territory as a first-time filmmaker to have, freedom to do it the way I want to do it. So I feel very lucky that I was able to do that. People will either like it or they won't.
Matthew, it's great to have you back on TV screens. 20 years since Lost started next year.
20.
Yeah, it's wild.
How do you reflect upon the legacy of the show? And have you ever watched it? Have you rewatched it?
I've never actually watched the show all the way through. I mean, I've seen episodes. When I was at that time in my life, I was not keen on watching myself like on screen, and I felt like it was somehow or another going to corrupt my work. But yeah, I mean, the legacy of the show, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's going to continue because there are new people finding it all the time. I mean, with the way that streaming works, I think there are new groups of people, new demos coming to the show constantly, and I think that will probably continue. I do think it's a show that will stand up over time. I mean, considering where it takes place and what it's really sort of about philosophically. I mean, it feels like it doesn't get dated quickly.
I was wondering, whilst the ending, I spend my entire life arguing with people down the pub about the fact that it's actually misunderstood and brilliant, because it's very divisive.
But don't you think that's exactly why we love this industry and this art form?
It's
not an objective fact.
Yeah.
People go like, oh, the ending is what it's only that to that person.
I think Damon Lindelof would be thrilled. That was clearly his intention.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted it to be something that could be interpreted by every single person's relationship with the show.
Yeah.
And you know, the people that were frustrated by the fact that they weren't given the answer of why there was a polar bear on the island, you know, they're kind of missing the point a little bit. It's okay, but for them to believe that 6 years of mysteries and asking questions were going to be wrapped up in a final 2 hours of the show, or even the last half of the last season, I mean, that's not how Damon wanted to do it. I would always have a conversation with Damon at the beginning of the year, and he would sort of map out Jack's arc for the season, sort of like, and he wasn't mapping that out for me, like for me to give notes. He was just mapping that out. So like, kind of like, this is what your journey is going to be. And then inevitably there would be stuff that would come along in the scripts where, because he hadn't given me a beat by beat layout of the season, I'd be like, whoa, holy that's a turn that I didn't see coming. And also in all kinds of other storylines that I wasn't involved in. But there was that faith. There was that, like, I'm going to trust that this is all going to work out and it's all going to make sense and these tendrils are going to tie together. And, you know, so yeah.
To tie that back to Court a little bit, Sean would say to me constantly when I was editing the show, you have to earn the audience's trust that they know when it's time to laugh and when it's time to cry. Because the show does walk a fine line between drama and comedy. And he said, as long as they feel safe in your hands, there's a lot of trust involved in letting someone tell you a story. And these days, committing hours of your life to watching things, you know, it is a big commitment for people to make. But you kind of just have faith that, like, oh, I'm just going to go. It'll take me somewhere good. And hopefully people can feel that way about this.
No, they were kidnapped, but they want to be famous.
Do you think TV production is in a better place now than it might have been back in?
Oh, no doubt, yeah. I'm not sure the shows are necessarily better yet, but the landscape of opportunity is endless. You know, a show like Lost, you had to tell a story, which was an unbelievable story. Like I said, I think it's one of the best stories ever told, but they had to work out 130 hours of it. If you said to Damon now, you're going to do that, you're going to tell that story, but you're going to do it like in maybe, 40 hours.
Yeah.
Would it be better, worse? Who knows? But I'd like to see him have a crack at it. It'd be really exciting. When I was talking about this, people were talking about it as a movie and whatever. And the idea of doing 6 half hours was just so much fun to me, because the big influences on me in recent memory were The Office, the British Office, and Fleabag. They were both 6 episode. I loved that arc that is almost like a movie with the 3 hours, but you have 6 individual episodes. It allows you to focus on a different character in each episode. And yeah, I think that the landscape for storytellers to tell their stories right now is almost limitless. Technically speaking, we just haven't quite worked out narratively what the best stories are within that environment.
Sure. I mean, this show doesn't get made in 2006.
No.
I mean,
don't get made in 2021 either.
Exactly.
I was trying.